Do you ever do this, or is it just me? When I am looking to do a little project with my succulents, I think, oh yeah, this is gonna be really simple, really easy. It'll just take a little bit. So even watering is that way for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, it'll just take a minute. And then I start thinking about it and I think, oh, but if I do that, then I also want to do this other thing. And if I do that, then I want to do this other thing. And you just get yourself to a point where you are so overwhelmed by how giant the project has now become that you don't want to do anything at all. It is definitely a problem for me, and I'm curious if it is for you. And if it is for you, I would love to know what your solutions are. So my goal for this year is to simplify everything and just make it quick and easy and not turn it into those giant projects. Here's a little bit of what I mean though. Right now, for me, most of my overwhelm is coming from the number of plants that I feel like need to be repotted. So I have these that I bought a little while ago for a project that I ended up not doing. So I'm trying to decide, do I replant these all individually? Do I try and make an arrangement with them? Do I try to see if I can get some to survive outside? Which the answer is probably no, because things just don't survive well outside here in the heat when they're very soft and tender like this. But you can see this one is already kind of starting to rot. It's a little bit overwatered, and it's really hard to water succulents in this type of soil inside and get all the way through. So the best way to water these is bottom watering, but then they've been staying wet too long. Anyway, it's a whole deal. So there's a lot of things back here that I would like to repot, like this one. It's just really shriveled up and dying. This one had a bunch of babies on the bottom. It actually still does, I guess you can see back there. So I need to water that one more frequently, but I just haven't gotten into a better watering routine. This one I want to throw away, but then I think, maybe I should just chop it off and see if I can propagate it, because it's a kalanchoe, and so it'll probably do something cool. But it's become a lot of work. This one has been interesting. It's growing roots, but it is not, it's not getting a ton of them. I think it needs to be on a slightly more organic soil on top, like some coconut coir. Anyway, so just looking at my succulents, while it does make me happy, it also adds to the overwhelm from time to time. And there's a lot of things here that need to be cleaned up. And I know that if I reduced my collection, if I had less plants, there would be less overwhelm. And yet I still feel so attached to them, and I just want to save everything and I want everything to grow. So then I think, okay, well, I will give away some of my succulents, and that way I feel better about it because it's going to people who will enjoy them and take care of them, and then it'll at least be off my plate. But I haven't done that either, because that is also work. So basically what I'm running into is just exhausting myself out of actually doing anything with my succulents. So right now I have just over 300 succulents, and I want to see if I can get it down to 200, to where there's a bunch of empty spaces on my shelves where I'm either throwing away or giving away plants. And maybe instead of throwing them away, maybe I'm just putting out even the unhealthy plants on my porch and giving them to people in our local Buy Nothing group and letting them revive them, instead of me trying to revive it before I give them away or sell them or something. But I would love to know if any of you have run into this issue, if you're currently running into this issue, and what you're doing about it. Do you have suggestions for me? Are there things that have worked well for you? And then on the flip side, is there anything that you want to see as I go through this process, or any questions that you have about what is happening in my indoor succulent garden right now? Go ahead and leave them in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts.